No. So the technique when I was knocking on doors was within 10 seconds, you try and reference a next door neighbor. So you go around and your primary objective is to collect names. And I try and use that now, and recently connected with someone from Scunthorpe, and I made a joke about how my football team had not been promoted because of Scunthorpe, and instant connection. It was brilliant. Is there a better way to turn someone into a warm lead and generate a conversation than making that really quick connection?
Yes. Well, so a couple of things. One, yeah, in the to sell is human, it just, it kind of blew my mind to hear the example of door-to-door selling. Having done door-to-door selling 55 years ago, nobody's, I mean, people don't even answer their phone. They're certainly not going to answer the door. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's just so irrelevant. I mean, I couldn't even believe my ears. But the notion of making a connection is, the point you're making is completely relevant. And I'm going to share my screen in the next slide for exactly that reason.
And Barry, this was in Montana and Utah.
Sorry? I didn't hear that.
I was doing this selling in Montana and Utah.
Ah, okay.
How long ago, Chris?
15 years ago, 16 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you would have the same experience today. So, but it raises a question. Here's a thing that I do a lot with folks. And there are two reasons I wanted to show it to you, but it's the degree of difficulty of a sale, okay? The easiest sale is an existing customer, an existing product, an existing rep, and an existing territory, okay? Nothing new there. The second easiest is an existing customer, new product, existing rep, existing territory. Okay, everybody with me here?
Yeah.
Okay. Third easiest, okay, we have an existing customer, rep, and product, but now we move you to a new territory, but you're still calling on the same companies, same solutions, just talking to new folks in the area. Fourth easiest is a new customer in an existing territory, rep, and product. What I want you to see is you're down to 6th place before you have 2 news. Okay, now, what's the hardest sale?
Everything's new.
Yeah.
16th place. Okay, this is the land of SDRs and BDRs, and I think it's criminal what we're doing to these kids. And they're not kids, but young people. Welcome to the world of sales. We are chewing these people up like sawdust. And yet we have veterans who are doing the easiest sale. They've been in their territory for a long time. They're living off a book of business and so on. We have a video on this. I would encourage you to take a look at it. So that's just a little food for thought. I don't know if anybody has any questions about that. I'll come back to your question in a minute, Chris, but I wanted to tee it up with this. So for starters, well, let me ask you, I'll ask all of you a question. What's the best lead source? What's the richest, warmest, best lead source for anybody?
Word of mouth?
Word of mouth, and beyond that,
it's Louise upstairs.
Referral. I'm sorry, what was it?
I said it's Louise upstairs. She runs a web agency. There you go.
But Barry, it's better than that. It's a referral from an existing customer who is happy.
Okay, so a referral from an existing customer that's happy. Great. So how many of you have a structured referral program? Okay, that's a good place to start, Chris. And if you don't know how to put one of those together, check out Joanne Black, who's the queen of referrals. She's got 2 books. I could grab them off the shelf here. The first one was No More Cold Calls. And the second one was Pick Up the Damn Phone. But anyway, Joanne has a website. She does, I think she's got a class in in LinkedIn Learning. Joanne Black, fabulous. She's really fun. And she's all about referrals. So that's the first place to start. The second thing, when you talk about, when you were going door to door and you could talk about the neighbors, or when you were, referencing the football team or whatever, common interests. And if you want to put something out, I think social selling is very difficult and time consuming. And it had a lot of traction 2 to 3 years ago. Everybody was chatting up social selling in a big way. Jill Rowley and Jamie Shanks and Max Althauser and a whole, everybody's like social, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't heard that kind of enthusiasm or broadcasting for at least 18 months and probably longer. Maybe, and I don't think it's necessarily tied to the pandemic, because that actually you think would be helpful for social outreach. But I think people, the noise level just, went through the skylights. It was just crazy. So I think putting out meaningful things, either, postings, and these people who post every day, they're listing other stuff. Larry Long Jr., super guy, high energy, wonderful guy, but he's always posting different things from different folks. And he's become a presence by doing that. If that's what you're looking for, you can do that, but I don't think that's really helpful. I think sending targeted, meaningful insights to people that you think you could and should be doing business with is a good place to start. I think emails are still effective, particularly if you do it over time. One you might want to take a look at, I grabbed a few books. Tech Powered Sales. I don't know if you know Tony Hughes out of Australia, good guy. This is his latest book. And there's another one, Lee Saltz, Sell Differently, or Sell Different. Should have been differently, but Sell Different. And he talks about, he provides an actual cadence for, 2 emails, a phone call, another blah, blah, blah. They both have suggestions. The main one is keep it short, keep it consistent. Going back to what we said at the beginning, a lot of these stats haven't changed over time. Used to be that how many touches did somebody need before they actually responded? And it could be anywhere between 10 and 13, but most sellers would give up after 2. So, long way to go.
That's an interesting point around, before we move on to sales process, because I actually have a question that came through around sales process. Chris, did you want to pick up on any of those points?
I just thought super interesting a bit about sort of LinkedIn and social media. So I first met Sarah trying to build a brand online for a logistics company, and I'm now starting on that journey on myself. My interactions are slowly getting towards double figures, which is great. But what is super interesting is the amount of conversations I have where someone says, I saw your post on LinkedIn and really liked da-da-da-da-da, but they hadn't interacted with it.
Yeah.
So likes and shares and views is not all, well, the views is the important bit, but the likes and the shares is not always coming through, but you're still building that relationship or credibility in the background.
Yeah, and I suspect Sarah probably has a few thoughts on
Well, is it an interesting one where sales and marketing collide though, right? Because
absolutely. Well, and
part of the process.
It used to be marketing was, sort of pre-pipeline, and then sales, once you had an SQL and it was accepted into the pipeline, then sales took over until they, lobbed it over the wall to service. But that bright line, and we did a posting on the blog on this few years ago, has really become sort of an illuminated fuzzy area, because the website and social and all these things that are typically handled by marketing now go much deeper into the sales cycle. And so I think having coordination between sales and marketing is essential. And in our surveys, 25% of companies had a formally agreed upon definition of a qualified lead between sales and marketing.